benefiting child advocates of Silicon Valley. And so I'd like to bring on their director of programs, Stacy Castle, to tell us a little bit more about their program. Welcome, Stacy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
So tell us a little bit about what Child Advocates of Silicon Valley is.
Yeah, Child Advocates of Silicon Valley is a local nonprofit that serves children in the foster care system. So there's about 1,000 kids that we serve. They have been abused, neglected, or abandoned by their caregivers, often their parents, but not always their parents. And then Child Advocates recruits, trains, and then supports volunteers from the community that we match, actually with a court order, those kids that are in the foster care system, and then they have the ability to spend time with them and get to know them. There are some obligations. They write court reports that go to the judges, but they also have the ability to talk to teachers and caregivers and parents and family members, et cetera, et cetera. The whole purpose is that this particular volunteer knows this one kid really well and can say to the courts, yeah, that kid is not too thrilled about this, or they are comfortable with that, or whatever the issues may be that come up.
And how did you get involved with Child Advocates of Silicon Valley?
Well, honestly, I was really lucky to get involved. I've always loved children, and my entire career is around children, nonprofits, and trauma. And so almost 5 years ago, this opening came up, and I was fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time with the right background and experience, and I think passion for this as well. So they brought me in as the director of programs almost 5 years ago.
And what do you do as the director of programs?
Mostly I take credit for my awesome team. I have a team of about 19 people, and my team is the support section of what we do. So there's another team that recruits, another team that trains, and my team of about 19 people supports the CASAs once they've been trained. And I should say what a CASA is. CASA is a court-appointed special advocate. And so my team is divided into two subgroups. I have a CAP team, that's a case assessment team. And I have 6 amazing individuals that assess all the cases that come into the dependency system, which is formerly what the dependency system or foster care system is called. And they assess whether or not a CASA can help on a case. There are some circumstances, which we can go into later, where sometimes a CASA is not going to be beneficial. But in the vast majority of time, there are cases where CASAs can help. And so then that moves on to the other side, which is my specialists, and they supervise the CASAs. So that's the actual interaction. My staff don't actually, most of the time, interact with the kids. We interact with the CASAs who interact with the kids.
And how would someone become a CASA?
You can go to our website, and there's this page, the volunteer page, and it walks you through. We have an info session that tells you all about what we do, and then hopefully you opt in and you do a first interview. It's kind of intense, but it's because we're really thinking about whether or not the volunteer from the community is good to be matched with the kids. And then there's a training process. We support you all the way through, and we match you with the kids.
So from start, let's say I'm all in. I've decided, yes, this is something I want to do. I go to your website, I sign up, give you my information. From that point, how long until I'm matched up with a child?
Till you're matched with the child. It depends on when you come in, because we have 5 trainings a year. The next one is in January. So anybody that's interested right now will obviously have a longer timeline. But once our classes start in January, it takes about a month to get trained. At the same time, we're doing background checks, all kinds of investigations. So if you came in at the last minute, joined the training, and wanted to get matched with a child, and you were in the speediest class ever, you could probably do that within about 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And I would assume you're always looking for more CASAs, yeah?
always looking for more CASAs. And I heard you, Mark, say that you were all in. So I'm just telling you, I'm going to hold you accountable to that.
It's funny you say that. I would love to do this. I remember we partnered with you guys last year.
That's right.
And I remember doing an interview similar to this. And right now I have 2 kids of my own, 5 and 7. So that's hence all the gray hair coming in here.
Wait, stop. Look at mine. You have no excuse.
Well, I mean, especially with like COVID and the quarantine, it's like, has that affected you guys?
That's the thing. Yes.
Right, I'm sure.
I thank you for bringing that up because it's a really big deal. The model that child advocates, in fact, across the United States, there's almost 1,000 agencies like us in different counties across the US. Specific to child advocates of Silicon Valley, our model has always been face-to-face. We spend time with the kid, getting to know them. That might be helping with their homework, going for a walk, maybe taking you for ice cream, right? But it's time on a weekly basis, face-to-face with the kid. Right now, we cannot do that. Right. So we at Child Advocates Silicon Valley had to go back and rethink our entire model. So during that time, we were like, okay, CASAs, what are you doing that's really creative with the kids and keeping you engaged? And we have amazing CASAs doing really creative things, puppet shows, and you go on a walk while I go on a walk, and we take our devices and we talk about what we see on all kinds of really crazy creative stuff that our CASAs are doing, which moved us toward what we're calling virtual visits. So we actually have programming now for virtual visits. And instead, I actually have 3 kids that I matched with myself right now.
Okay, so you're a CASA yourself.
Oh, yeah, I am a CASA. From the first month that I got here, I've been a CASA. I just believe that strongly in this. And to your point, Mark, I have 4 children of my own.
Wow.
And I always heard like being a CASA was so hard, and it's almost like, taking on another child, and you have to have time. But it isn't like that. Yes, the kids need you. You do make a commitment, so you have to show up. But it's not as overwhelming as it seems to be. And if you just have a couple of hours that you want to spend with someone, giving them hope, this is an amazing way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I also think it's important to reiterate, these are foster kids. They're not kids that are like in the juvenile justice system. So they're not in trouble. It's nothing that they've done to be in this situation, right?
Yeah. So a little bit of information with that. We only work with kids that are in the dependency system. So they are foster kids. So the kids in the dependency system, you're right, have done nothing to be in this situation. Often they're upset about that because they're like, I didn't even do anything, and here I am removed from my house. Some of our kids, a very small population, 2%, are what we call DIY kids. Those are dually involved youth. The DIY kids are kids that are involved in the juvenile justice system because they have done something. You, as a volunteer coming in, would know if you're going to work with a DIY youth. But so it's the vast majority are not in that situation. They're usually at the very edges of I cut school too many times, or I may have stolen something. It's not, and we always assess for that. My case assessment team always assesses, is this kid in a good situation to have a CASA or not? And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is, especially right now during COVID, I've gotten calls from individuals in the community saying, I need an advocate for my child. That's just out in the community, and we do not do that. So unfortunately, I have to call them back and say no. We just work with kids in the dependency system.
Right. And can you maybe walk us through what a typical day or a typical week for a child in the program might look like?
Okay, I'm going to use my kiddo. He's 15 and a half years old. He is, I'm going to call him Eddie. And so Eddie is 15 and a half years old. Right now, he's living with a professional parent. That's like you, Mark, might consider yourself a parent, but are you a professional parent?
I fail every day. I'm definitely not a professional parent.
So within the industry, a professional parent is elevated kind of above like a foster parent, because while you apply to the county to be a foster parent, and there are a lot of hoops that have to go through. They come and see your house. The kid's going to be living there. You're compensated for it. There are trainings you have to attend, all of these things as a foster parent. A professional parent is kind of more than that, because while they are a foster parent, they have some intense experiences and education and trainings to help them deal with pretty unique situations. They usually have way less kids in the house too. So my kid, Eddie, lives with a professional parent. There are 2 kids in the placement right now. So it's just, this happens to be a single mom that is the professional parent. And then she has 2 young boys, both of which are 15 years old. So right now with school, this amazing woman gets up in the morning and she's like, all right, boys, let's go. So the 2 boys get up. They have to get ready for school. Usually it's 5 minutes before they have to log into Zoom. So they show up at the table. She has a table set up. Both of the kids have devices and they log in. And from 9 to noon, they're in school at home, like so many of our kids right now. We're trying to build into these kids' experiences life skills, because different than the kids that maybe you're raising or I'm raising, these kids are not always going to have been, number one, taught those life skills. And then second, they might not have the luxury of a backup plan. So if you think in Silicon Valley, there are a lot of kids that are 22, 24, 26 years old that still live at home with their parents. That's not an option for these kids. And so we're trying to build up at 16, 15, 14 years of age, these life skills, which is get up on your own. And I had 4 kids of my own, and I'm telling you, I had to like, get up, eat breakfast, clean your room, wash your face, all of those things. So these kids would do that before logging in on their own for school. They're in school for a little while, they take a break, and while the professional parent is there, really, we're encouraging them to make your own lunch. You went grocery shopping over the weekend, so go figure out what you have over here and make lunch. She's there as support and encouraging. And my God, this woman is incredibly patient, but a lot of it is sort of nudging and reminding the kids. So they have school, they have break, they log back in for another couple hours of virtual school. And then they have after school time. So sometimes, depending on how they were doing in school, they catch up on visits. And then there's actually what's called a wrap team. So WRAP, it's like wrapping the kids in services. And the wrap team will come out usually for 1 to 3 hours to interact with the kids. They might just take them to play basketball. They might help them with homework. They might go for a walk. They might take them shopping if the kids need something. The system would pay for whatever the kids need. And again, at this age, we're always focused on those life skills. So for example, my kiddo, Eddie, we just recently had the wrap team interact with him out in the community. So they took him out and they were like, okay, I'm going to hang back here, but I want to see you go into this store and shop on your own. So he had to remember to put his mask up. He had to count out the money to pay for whatever it was. And they're just backup in case something goes wrong, and to kind of be with the kid. And by go wrong is, I'm 25 cents short or that kind of thing.
Right.
But those kinds of experiences are not typical to the kids that you're raising, Mark. And it's not things that, on a daily basis, my kids would have done.
Yeah.
And then when the kids come back to the house, there's dinner time. It's the exact same thing. Like, okay, you cooked or you shopped for this. What are you going to cook for dinner? So sometimes, in fact, last week I had a virtual visit with my kiddo. I log into my computer. He logs into his, and I'm cooking dinner at my house and he's cooking dinner at his house. And we just spent, half hour, 45 minutes cooking and then sort of sharing a meal together. It was actually kind of cute because he's put the laptop in front of him and he's like leaning way in. Anyway, it was cute.
That is so cute.
That's a day.
Yeah. So the toy drive, as I said, it's
Mhm.
happening December 4th, 5th, and 6th.
That's right.
And people will be able to donate starting on Monday, November 23rd at our website, mymix1065.com. What are some of the popular gifts you might be looking for?
Well, the kids, teenagers love those ear pods. They're always breaking them, losing them, dropping them. So the more ear pods, the better of any kind. They love, of course, the wireless, but any kind will do.
Wait,
Um,
one last thing. So the kids in this program are anywhere from what
oh,
newborns all
birth.
the way up to 18 years old. Is that what we're
21, actually, 21 years of age.
okay?
So it's birth to 21 years of age.
Okay.
That's a great
Yep.
question. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I mean the difference between what a teenager wants and what a toddler wants,
That's
it's
right.
that wide range, right?
That's right. Yeah. But our kids are just normal kids too. So if you think about a 1-year-old or you think about a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, whatever is popular for them, that's what our kids want too.
Right.
So I just talked about the ear pods. Shoes are a really big thing. Like, what kind of kicks do you have on? That's a really big thing. Clothing and craft items and outdoor activities, all of those things are things that the kids, love getting.
I remember last year when we were doing this, I heard about the CASA store. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, we do have a CASA store. So unfortunately, right now you can't come and shop in the store as a CASA.
Right.
The store is in our office in Milpitas. Any CASA that signs up and is matched with a kiddo can walk the store and shop for free. There's never a cost that's associated with that. Everything that's in the store are donations like this. The kids can come and they also can get something. We have everything in there from like hygiene kits and shoes and toys and outdoor activities and craft items and school supplies and tons of clothing and all the things that the kids might need. Yes, there is
Great.
still a store. They can't shop it, but we have something called an essential needs pickup. So the CASA can request the materials. We have a process to do that on our website.
Sure.
And then they schedule a time to literally come up, and then there's a no touch, no contact pickup. We put it outside, they pick it up with their name on it. Yeah.
Great.
Exchange happens.
So the toys that people are going to donate, this is going to be on an Amazon wish list. Does that go directly? Do you have the kids in mind already, or do these go to that CASA store and then the CASAs choose them for the kids?
What we would like to do is have all of the kids that have CASAs working with them this year have a gift. And so we've looked at like, what would a package of gifts, I don't know, 4 or 5 different gifts for a kid that is 0 to 5 years old. So we have kind of a package of gifts for 0 to 5, and then 6 to 12, those kids have a different need, 13 to 18, and then 18 plus are what we call NMDs. Those are non-minor dependents, because they're over 18, they're no longer a minor, but they are still in this dependency system. So we've broken it up according to those age groups so that we can most efficiently get these gifts out. And we are committed to doing this. So sometimes the CASAs will pick up the gifts, or we'll actually deliver the gifts to the kids.
And people can also make monetary donations
Of course.
at your website, right?
That's right. On the website, yes. A nonprofit always is happy and thrilled with those. Mm-hmm.
Stacy, this has been fantastic. Is there anything that I missed that you want to tell us about?
Just that this is a wonderful, incredible, and I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it really is a life-changing experience. CASAs can be, people can be CASAs from 21 and up. And now is a really great time to do it because all of the training is virtual. We help you with working with the kids. So if anyone has ever thought about becoming a CASA, I'd really say this is the best time to do it because it has the easiest ask and the highest support.
Stacy, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And again, our toy drive is December 4th, 5th, and 6th. I hope you can help us reach our goal to get a gift for every foster child in Santa Clara County served by child advocates. And if you'd like to give more, give the gift of time to a foster child and sign up to become a CASA. Their next, it was in January, right? Your next training session?
Yes.
And that's at childadvocatessv.org/volunteer.
Right.
And I'm Marc Acton. Thanks for watching. Thanks again to Stacy Castle. And thanks in advance for everything that you're going to give this holiday season.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
See you, Stacy.
Bye.